My husband refused therapy for his daughter, who threatened to terrorize our kids, so I filed for divorce right before Christmas. I don't know if I'm the asshole here, but I ended my marriage 3 weeks before Christmas because I'm tired of being treated like a monster for believing my stepdaughter needs therapy. The worst part? Everyone acts like I'm the problem. Let me back up. 8 years ago, I met Daniel at a mutual friend's barbecue. He was quiet, kind, had these warm brown eyes that crinkled when he smiled. He also had a 6-year-old daughter named Olivia. His wife had died 2 years prior, ovarian cancer, stage 4, gone in 8 months. They'd technically been separated when she passed, he told me on our third date. Not because they didn't love each other, but because the diagnosis changed everything and they'd been figuring things out when she ran out of time. I respected that. I did. And when he introduced me to Olivia 3 months into our relationship, I came prepared. I'd read books about blended families, about helping kids through grief, about not trying to replace their parent. I brought her a small gift, nothing extravagant, just a craft kit I thought she might like based on what Daniel had told me about her interests. She took it, said thank you, then barely looked at me for the next 2 hours. Daniel assured me she was just shy. She's always been reserved, he said. Even before her mom got sick. That's just Olivia's personality. His parents said the same thing when I met them. Don't take it personally, his mother told me. Olivia's not the warm and fuzzy type. She's more internal, thoughtful. She'll come around when she's ready. His sister chimed in. The important thing is she's not throwing tantrums or being disrespectful. That means she's adjusting fine. I wanted to believe them. I really did. But something in my gut felt off. This wasn't just shyness or being reserved. This was a kid who looked at me like I was an intruder, who would leave the room if I entered, who wouldn't make eye contact unless forced. Before Daniel and I got engaged, I brought it up. We were having dinner at his place, Olivia was at a sleepover, and I said, "Have you considered therapy for Olivia? Just to help her process everything." He set down his fork. She's fine. Really? I know she seems distant, but that's just how she is. My mom was the same way as a kid. But she lost her mother 2 years ago. And she cried at the funeral, talked to the grief counselor at school for a few months, and she's adjusted. Trust me, I watch for signs. If she needed help, I'd get her help. I dropped it. I figured maybe I was being paranoid. Maybe I was too worried about being the stepmother stereotype, the evil one who doesn't understand. We got married when Olivia was 8. She was a flower girl, wore a beautiful lavender dress, smiled in all the photos. To anyone looking at our wedding album, we were a perfect blended family. But at home, Olivia still wouldn't talk to me unless Daniel was around. She'd answer direct questions with 1 or 2 words. She never asked me for help with homework, never wanted me to drive her anywhere, never suggested we do anything together. She just needs time, Daniel would say. So I gave her time. A year. Then 2. When Olivia was 10, and we'd been married almost 3 years, I got pregnant. That's when everything changed. I remember the day we told her. I was 12 weeks along, just past the scary first trimester. Daniel had made her favorite dinner, chicken parmesan, and we sat down together like we did every night. Olivia, we have some exciting news, Daniel said, reaching for my hand. You're going to be a big sister. The silence that followed felt like it lasted an hour. Olivia just stared at us. Her fork was halfway to her mouth, frozen in midair. Then she set it down. Carefully. Deliberately. What? Her voice was flat. I'm pregnant, I said, trying to sound excited and calm. You'll have a baby brother or sister in about 6 months. No. Daniel blinked. Sweetheart. No. I don't want a baby. Tell her to get rid of it. My mouth fell open. Daniel's face went pale. Olivia, that's not. We're not getting rid of the baby. This is happening, and we know it's a big change, but... She stood up so fast her chair tipped backward and clattered to the floor. You betrayed her, she screamed at Daniel. You betrayed Mom. You said you'd always love her, and now you're having a baby with her. She pointed at me like I was garbage on the sidewalk. Daniel stood too. Olivia, that's enough. I hate you. She was crying now, tears streaming down her face. I hate you and I hate her, and I'm never going to accept that baby. Never. It's not my sibling. You're not a dad to someone else's baby. You're my dad. Just mine. She ran to her room and slammed the door so hard a picture frame fell off the hallway wall. I sat there, my hand on my barely there bump, and felt my own tears coming. Daniel ran after Olivia, and I could hear him trying to talk to her through the door, his voice low and soothing. That was the first night I thought, she needs help. Professional help. The outbursts continued through my pregnancy. Olivia would scream at random intervals. She'd refuse to eat if I cooked. She'd tell Daniel he was replacing her, that he didn't love her anymore, that I'd poisoned him against her. I suggested therapy again.
And again.
And again. Daniel finally agreed. You're right, he said one night after a particularly bad screaming match where Olivia had thrown a glass against the kitchen wall. I'll call someone tomorrow. She needs help processing this. I exhaled in relief. Finally, our son, Mason, was born in May. He was perfect, tiny fingers, dark hair, Daniel's nose. I fell in love the second I saw him. Olivia refused to visit us in the hospital, but Daniel assured me she was in therapy. Dr. Patterson is great, he said. She specializes in family transitions. Olivia's been seeing her twice a week. I was so exhausted from new mom life, the sleepless nights, the nursing, the overwhelming love and fear that came with being responsible for this tiny human, that I didn't question it. I trusted Daniel. That was my mistake. When Mason was 6 months old and I was pregnant again, surprise, I needed to find some paperwork in Daniel's home office. We were refinancing the house, and I needed a copy of our marriage certificate. I found the file cabinet unlocked. Started going through folders. Marriage certificate, birth certificates, insurance documents. And then I found it. A folder labeled Olivia, classes. Inside were receipts. Not for Dr. Patterson. Not for therapy. For something called Big Sibling Success Boot Camp. I stared at the papers. It was a 6-week course held at the community center. The description said it was designed to help older children adjust to new siblings, get excited about being a big brother or sister, learn how to help with baby care. This wasn't therapy. This was a parenting class for kids. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. I kept looking through the folder. More receipts.
Siblines Unite Workshop.
Welcome Baby Home Seminar. Not one single bill from a therapist. When Daniel got home that night, I was sitting at the kitchen table with the folder open in front of me. What's this? I asked, my voice shaking. He saw the papers and his face went red. I can explain. You lied to me. You told me Olivia was in therapy. This is a form of therapy.
No.
It's not. I stood up. Mason was asleep in his bassinet next to me, and I lowered my voice so I wouldn't wake him. Therapy is with a licensed therapist who helps kids process trauma and grief and anger. This is a 6-week course about how to hold a baby properly. It helped her, Daniel said defensively. She learned coping strategies. She's still screaming at us. She told Mason last week that she wished he'd never been born. To his face. He's 6 months old. She's adjusting. Daniel. I was crying now. She needs real help. Not a community center class. Real therapy with a real therapist. He ran his hands through his hair. You don't understand. If I take her to therapy, she'll think I'm saying something's wrong with her. She'll think I'm calling her broken. She is struggling. That's not the same as broken. That's just human. Kids need help sometimes.
There's no shame in that.
But he wouldn't budge. He said the classes were working, that I needed to be patient, that I was overreacting because of pregnancy hormones. Pregnancy hormones. He actually said that. Our daughter, Emma, was born when Mason was 18 months old. By then, Olivia was 12. The screaming had mostly stopped, but it had been replaced by something worse. Silence. Cold, calculated silence. And things started disappearing. At first, I thought I was losing my mind. I'd put Mason's bottle on the counter to grab a burp cloth, turn back around, and it would be gone. I'd find it hours later in the bathroom cabinet. My phone charger would vanish from my nightstand. I'd find it in the garage, tucked behind paint cans. Diapers would disappear from the changing table. I'd discover them in the basement, shoved behind the water heater. Once, an entire package of wipes, unopened, went missing. I tore the house apart looking for them, because I had 2 kids in diapers and no wipes. I finally found them 3 days later in Olivia's closet, buried under her winter clothes. When I told Daniel, he said I was probably just forgetting where I put things. "You're exhausted," he said. "You're taking care of 2 babies. Your brain is fried." But I knew. I knew it was Olivia. I started watching her. And I caught her. Multiple times. I'd see her take my phone off the couch when she thought I wasn't looking, slip it into her hoodie pocket. I'd find it later in the laundry room, tucked into a basket of dirty clothes. When I confronted her, calmly, I swear I was calm, she'd look at me with these blank eyes and say, "I don't know what you're talking about." And Daniel would believe her. Every time. "Why would she do that?" he'd ask me. "That doesn't make sense." "Because she's angry," I'd say. "Because she resents the kids, and she's taking it out on me. Because she needs therapy." That word, therapy, became a trigger for Daniel's entire family. At Sunday dinners at his parents' house, I try to bring it up gently. "Olivia seems to be having a hard time adjusting. Has anyone thought about getting her some support?" Daniel's mom would get this pinched look on her face. "She's fine. She's just quiet. But she's hiding things from me, moving things, and she told Mason yesterday that she hates him." Kids say things they don't mean. Daniel's dad would interrupt. "You're being too sensitive." His sister would chime in. "I think you need to accept Olivia for who she is instead of trying to change her." I felt like I was going insane. Every time I brought up therapy, I became the problem. I was the one who didn't understand. I was the one who couldn't accept Olivia. Meanwhile, Olivia would sit at that dinner table and say, out loud, in front of everyone, "I hate the kids. I wish they'd never been born." And Daniel's family would just change the subject. Talk about the weather or someone's job or what movie they'd seen recently. Like she hadn't just said she hated her siblings. I stopped leaving Olivia alone with Mason and Emma. I couldn't. I didn't trust what she might do. When she was home from school, I made sure the kids were either with me or with Daniel. I installed a lock on the kids' bedroom door that locked from the outside. I know how that sounds, but I needed to know they were safe when they slept. Daniel thought I was being paranoid. "She's not going to hurt them," he'd say. "How do you know?" I'd ask. He never had a good answer. By the time Olivia was 14 and Mason was 4 and Emma was almost 3, I was at my breaking point. I'd been advocating for therapy for years.
Years.
And every single time, I was shut down.
Dismissed.
Called overprotective, too sensitive, too harsh, too judgmental. Daniel's family started calling me the monster. Not to my face, but I heard it. Daniel's sister said it to their mom once when she didn't know I was in the next room. I don't know why Daniel married such a monster. All she does is try to fix Olivia like she's broken. It broke something in me, hearing that. I wasn't trying to fix Olivia. I was trying to help her. But no one seemed to understand the difference. Thanksgiving this year was the final straw. We hosted at her house. Daniel's parents, his sister, and her husband. Their 3 kids, all cousins close in age to Olivia. I made a huge spread. Turkey, stuffing, 3 kinds of potatoes, green beans, rolls, pies. I spent 2 days cooking. I wanted it to be perfect. After dinner, the kids all went downstairs to the basement to play. The adults stayed upstairs, drinking wine, talking, laughing. I went down to check on the kids at one point. Bring them some pie. That's when I heard Olivia talking to her cousins. They were sitting in a circle on the floor, and Olivia was in the middle, holding court like she was telling them a secret. "I'm going to break all their toys," she was saying. "On Christmas morning. I'm going to wait until they open everything, and then when no one's looking, I'm going to smash it all." Her cousins looked uncomfortable. One of them, Becca, age 13, said, "That's kind of mean, Olivia." Olivia shrugged. "I don't care. They deserve it. I'm going to make sure this Christmas is so fucked up for them.
I want them to cry.
I want them to feel like shit. I hate them, and I want them to pay for existing." I stood there, frozen, holding a tray of pie slices. Mason was sitting across from Olivia, playing with a toy truck. He was 4. He didn't even understand what she was saying. Emma was next to him, stacking blocks. 3 years old. Innocent.
Happy.
And Olivia was bragging about wanting to destroy their Christmas. To make them cry. To make them feel like shit. I set the pie down and walked back upstairs. Daniel was laughing at something his dad said. Everyone was so relaxed, so happy. "Daniel," I said. My voice sounded strange in my own ears. Can I talk to you?
Now.
He must have heard something in my tone because he followed me immediately into the kitchen. What's wrong? Your daughter just told her cousins she's planning to break all of Mason and Emma's Christmas presents. She said she wants to make their Christmas fucked up and make them cry. She said she hates them and wants them to pay for existing. His face went pale. What? I heard her. Just now. Downstairs. She was bragging about it. She was probably joking. Daniel. I grabbed his arm. She wasn't joking.
She meant it.
She said it clearly. With detail. This is exactly why she needs therapy. She's fantasizing about hurting her siblings emotionally. That's not normal. He pulled away from me. You're overreacting. I'm not. My voice rose. Becca and Josh heard it too. Ask them. Daniel went downstairs. I followed. He asked the cousins if Olivia had said anything about Christmas. They all looked at each other. Becca finally spoke up. She said she was going to break Mason and Emma's toys. Daniel looked at Olivia. Is that true? Olivia shrugged. I was kidding. She wasn't kidding, Becca said quietly. She sounded serious. Daniel's jaw tightened. Olivia, go to your room. But
Now.
she stomped upstairs. Daniel turned to me. Happy now? No, I said. I won't be happy until she gets actual help. Real therapy. With a licensed therapist. Not a workshop. Not a class. Real help. We went back upstairs. I pulled Daniel's parents and sister aside and told them what happened. Told them what Olivia said, word for word. Daniel's mom frowned. That does sound concerning. Finally.
Someone was hearing me.
But then Daniel's sister said, but I mean, she's a teenager. Teenagers say dramatic things. I'm sure she didn't mean it literally. She said it with her whole chest, I replied. She was bragging. She wants to hurt them. Daniel's dad sighed. I think you're making too big a deal out of this. Kids talk big. They don't actually follow through. But what if she does? I was begging now. What if Christmas morning comes and she destroys everything? What if she hurts them? She's not going to hurt them, Daniel said firmly. Stop saying that. Then why won't you get her help? Because there's nothing wrong with her. The room went silent. Everyone was staring at us. I looked at Daniel. Really looked at him. And I realized he was never going to do it. He was never going to get Olivia the help she needed. Because admitting she needed help meant admitting he'd failed as a parent. Meant admitting his late wife's daughter wasn't perfect. I need her to go to therapy, I said quietly. Real therapy. Or I'm done. Daniel's face hardened. You're giving me an ultimatum? I'm telling you what I need. I need to know my kids are safe. I need to know that their sister isn't going to terrorize them. And she needs professional help to work through whatever she's feeling. You need to trust me, Daniel said. I'm her parent. I know her better than you do. That was it. The line in the sand.
Fine, I said.
Then I guess we're done. I went upstairs, grabbed my phone, and texted my parents. Can me and the kids stay with you?
Need to talk.
It's urgent. They didn't answer right away. It was late, almost 11. I knew they were probably asleep. I went back downstairs. The family was getting ready to leave, putting on coats, saying awkward goodbyes. No one looked at me. Daniel's mom hugged him and whispered something I couldn't hear. Probably that I was being unreasonable. That I was the monster. After everyone left, Daniel and I stood in the kitchen, surrounded by dirty dishes and leftover food. You didn't mean that, he said. About being done. I did. It's Thanksgiving. You're upset. Let's talk about this tomorrow. There's nothing to talk about. I've been asking for therapy for years. You've lied to me, dismissed me, and let your family call me a monster. Your daughter is planning to traumatize our children, and you won't do anything about it. I'm done. I slept on the couch that night. I barely slept, actually. Just lay there, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I was making the right choice. My phone buzzed around 2 a.m. My mom, of course you can stay. Come over whenever you're ready. The next morning, I packed bags for me, Mason, and Emma. Daniel watched from the doorway of our bedroom. You're really doing this, he said. It wasn't a question. I am. Right before Christmas. Yes. We haven't even tried couples therapy. You lied to me about getting Olivia help. You've spent years gaslighting me into thinking I'm crazy for wanting therapy. Your family calls me a monster. Why would I go to therapy with you? He didn't have an answer. I loaded the kids into the car. Emma asked why we were going to Grandma's house. I told her we were having a little vacation. Mason asked if Olivia was coming. I said no. Daniel stood in the driveway, watching us leave. He looked broken. Part of me felt guilty, but a bigger part felt relief. I filed for divorce 3 days later. Daniel called me 17 times that day. I didn't answer. He left voicemails,
Crying. Begging.
saying I was throwing away 8 years over nothing. Nothing. He called his daughter, threatening to destroy our kids' Christmas. Nothing. His parents called too. Said I was being cruel. That I was abandoning the family right before the holidays. That Olivia didn't mean what she said. That kids talk big. His sister texted me a long message about how I'd never accepted Olivia, how I'd always seen her as a problem, how I was the real issue in this family. I blocked all of them. My lawyer asked if I wanted to pursue full custody. I said yes. I told her everything. The hiding things, the threats, the refusal to get therapy, Daniel's lies about the therapy he'd supposedly gotten Olivia. She said we had a strong case. Daniel hired a lawyer too. Apparently, he's arguing that I'm unstable and vindictive for leaving right before Christmas. That I'm keeping his kids from him for no reason. His parents have been texting my parents, trying to get them to convince me to come back.
My mom shut that down fast.
She told them that if they were so concerned about family, maybe they should have listened when I said Olivia needed help. It's been 3 weeks now. Mason asks about Daddy every day. I've been taking him to visit, supervised, at my parents' house. Daniel holds him and cries and tells him he loves him. Emma doesn't really understand what's happening. She's too little. Daniel keeps texting me, asking if we can talk, asking if I'll reconsider, saying he'll get Olivia into therapy if I come back. But it's too late for that. He should have done it years ago. He should have listened to me the first time I brought it up. He should have believed me when I said things were disappearing. He should have taken me seriously when I said Olivia was struggling. Instead, he let his family call me a monster. He let Olivia terrorize our children. He lied to me. And now he's upset that there are consequences. His parents are the most vocal about it. They keep saying I'm ruining Christmas. That the kids deserve to spend the holidays with their father. That I'm being selfish. But you know what? My kids deserve to feel safe. They deserve to have a Christmas where they're not worried about their sister breaking their toys. They deserve a mom who protects them. Even if that makes me a monster. Christmas is in 5 days. I've already bought presents for Mason and Emma. We're going to have a quiet holiday at my parents' house. There will be a tree, cookies, stockings, all the normal stuff. And Olivia won't be there to ruin it. I don't feel good about any of this. I don't feel victorious. I just feel tired and sad and relieved. Daniel sent me one more message yesterday. You're going to regret this. Walking away from our family over something so small. You'll realize you overreacted, and by then it'll be too late. I didn't respond. Because he's wrong. This isn't small. A child threatening to traumatize her siblings isn't small. A husband lying about getting help isn't small. A family calling you a monster for wanting therapy isn't small. These are huge things. Relationship-ending things. Family-destroying things. And I'm done pretending they're not. So, Ada, for ending my marriage without therapy less than a month before Christmas because I'm tired of being treated like a monster for believing my stepdaughter needs therapy? I honestly don't know anymore. Everyone says I am. Daniel says I am. His family definitely thinks I am. But my kids are safe. And maybe that's all that matters.
Thanks for listening. I'll be back tomorrow.